Hi.
How are you?
I'm not bad, thank you. Thank you for doing this.
No, thank you. Thank you for agreeing to do it as well. So we'll just give it a minute, see if any more people join us, and then yeah, we'll get started. But yeah, we'll just give it a second just to see if get a couple more through.
No worries.
But yeah. Yeah, may as well start. So, how did you get into athletics?
So I first started athletics when I was around 11, and we just did a 6-week starter trial. It was just in like the local paper, and you went down, you tried all the events. It was a really good structure actually. You got to try everything, but at that point I was too young to do hammer. But by the time I was 14, it was allowed, and yeah, that's where I got started. Did it in the YDL, so never turn your nose up when you get offered to do a YDL, and even if it's not your event, always do it. You never know.
Might see, might find your event. So
Yeah.
how did you get into it? Because I know you are living further north and you were part of another club. So how did you end up as part of Blackheath and Bromley?
So I joined Blackheath and Bromley in 2018 around July, and I was drawn obviously by the extensive success of Blackheath and Bromley. Oh my gosh, the quality of athletes we've had is crazy, and the quality now is astonishing. The main reason for the big move was I joined the University of Kent, which is obviously a southern university, so involved a move from home, which is Wolverhampton, to Kent, and for that I had to swap coaches, swap clubs, and just do a topsy-turvy of everything really.
Yeah, so with your move as well, did you find that the club was quite welcoming and you had like a good experience with moving, or was it a bit stressful because obviously switching coaches and stuff like that?
I found it really exciting. So it was a whole new circuit to me. Like all the girls were new, all the venues. It was a totally new experience of athletics for me. The breath of fresh air I needed. The first few girls I met were probably Grace, Lois, Lauren, all the javelin throws, hammer throws, Shauna. I went to a women's league with her, and I loved the vibe of the club. Like all the girls were so nice. And then we went on that big trip in Portugal, and that just solidified everything. I knew I'd made the right move, and it's been phenomenal so far.
So you said there with Portugal, if you how was that whole experience with like the staying with the club and your performance on the day as well?
So we had the best time. It was so fun from the get-go, the plane to the hotel to the competition. We just had such a nice time, and that was because of the people. Everyone at Blackheath is so lovely. The team managers who sacrifice all their time, all the coaches, and importantly all the athletes. So on that day I had a really successful experience. I came second, and that would be my first proper international where we had to travel a little bit. Having only done one in Wales before, this felt like my first proper one. So that was really nice to experience with everyone.
Yeah, no, it's good. I can confirm. Great roommate. No, I loved it. It was good. It was good fun. So would you say that's your like you enjoyed the staying over aspect of the traveling with the team?
The highlight, I think.
So with that as well, oh, I think, have you frozen?
Yeah, it just froze a little bit after you.
Oh, sorry. But yeah, no. So that sounds like you had fun with the staying over and stuff. So with that, you had quite a few experiences of English schools. So how did they go?
So I did 5 English schools. So I started second year under 15, and I did all the way up to under 20. My most successful place, and I came fourth twice, which, you know, always the bridesmaid, never the bride, but that didn't matter. That I had the best time as I got older. I feel there's so much pressure placed on you when you're younger, and you really should just ignore it. Don't look on Para 10, don't look in the programme, don't compare yourself to anyone else. You're just there for yourself, and I think that's so hard when you're younger, but as you get older, you just learn to have fun at comps like that because they only come around once every year.
Yeah. So I can, with the, because you obviously you did come fourth twice. So would you say that gave you more motivation to carry on from there, or how did you find that?
Definitely. I mean, on the day, you can't help but be disappointed to be that close and to not get it. But when you reflect afterwards, you realise actually fourth is really good and you made the final and you had all these nice experiences because of it. And I think in 5 years' time, does anyone care who won? I don't think so. So it's all right.
No, yeah. So with that as well, you said one of your main reasons for moving to Blackheath and Bromley was you went to Kent for uni. Um, what course are you doing, and how is the athletics fitting in with that? Is it part
So I
of
do
your
sport
course?
and that's like
Okay.
a blend of sport and business because I couldn't choose between the two. So I just blended them together. So I'm quite lucky. Our university are really supportive of sports. So I'm on the sports scholarship team and we have lots of evenings together and we talk about successes and what everyone's doing through the season. And that's really nice because you get to connect with a lot more people. And the uni overall is so good with sports. They're really accommodating. You can get extensions on deadlines if you really need to, which is so helpful.
Um, so you don't just throw a hammer and other throwing objects. You're with your uni. You're doing power and weightlifting, I think. So how did you
Yeah,
get into that? How do you think that's helped your hammer, or?
definitely. So I did my first British weightlifting champs in 2015 and I got new PBs there, did really well. I think I was ranked in the top three in the country and we realised, oh, actually, I'm quite decent at that. We should pursue that a bit more. And that was just from having a good coach when I was young. So the moment I started Hammer, my coach Steve got me in the gym, got me familiar with all the movements. So I've been lifting quite a long time, really. And I did qualify for the British unis this year, but coronavirus unfortunately cancelled. But I've got one more year of uni. But I think strength training is really overlooked as an important aspect of athletics. I've noticed a big improvement in my performance, your coordination, your speed, your flexibility. I feel like it just helps everything. Put in the right exercise and you'll see a big increase in performance.
Yeah, uh, it sounds good. And yeah, so definitely that it's helping. Um, with that, how have you found? Because obviously that's going to be going from having those facilities with the gym and stuff like that to lockdown. How have you found training during lockdown for both for the
So
hammer and the weights?
I've been really, really fortunate. So we have a lot of space here, so we have quite a big field. So we took it upon ourselves to measure up a hammer circle and craft our own out of wood. And so I've been able to still keep throwing, which has been really helpful. Obviously, I can empathise with everyone who hasn't been able to access a track recently. It's been a really tough time. Similarly with the gyms, obviously they're only just opening up. Again, fortunately, my boyfriend is one of the best powerlifters in the country. He could not go without a gym, so we just simply built one. So we've got a gym facility, which we are so fortunate to have. And that's helped me keep going, really. I think I was only without for about 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. So you've been training through most of it then, not too
Yeah,
dissimilarly from. Is
no.
it different though having the environment of, because normally would you be around other people in a training group, or how
This
has
is
that differed as well?
the big one. You've had to have a lot of self motivation, get yourself up, get yourself ready. Again, with the gym, it is an empty warehouse. It's just you in there. You've got to really create an atmosphere. So we bought some speakers and just a different headset, really. You've not got anyone else to scream at you to get you to do it. You've got to go and do it yourself. It's that getting up in the morning, even when it's difficult, when it's raining. We've been rain or shine. I've been in the hammer circle, grinding away.
Yeah, done. So with your you said about obviously you've been lucky enough to continue to throw throughout. Um, I know that yesterday with, well, the coronavirus has changed a lot, and yesterday there was a competition that did go ahead, and you were lucky enough to participate. So could you tell us a bit about that?
So there was a series of 3 test events England Athletics put on, one in the south, one in the north, one in the Midlands. We were guinea pigs basically to test the new coronavirus like proposed plan, and it was a bit different. So there was no interaction. Obviously, you were 2 meters away from everyone at all times. You had to stay in a little pen outside the cage, and you'd collect your own hammers. You'd weigh your own implements, so you were the only one handling them, which is a bit different. But at the end of it, like a normal competition, really, and it was really successful. So I'm quite hopeful we will have competitions again soon, based off the success of these events. And it went really well for me, thankfully. My first time in a concrete circle since March, so we didn't really know what to expect, but I threw 52.99, and that's my best season opener with the 4K since I started.
So happy with that performance?
Definitely happy with that. It's a nice starting block. My PB is only 54, so literally a metre and a half in it.
Okay, yeah. So it must have been a bit weird, obviously having to collect your own implement. So you had to go and get your hammer. Do you think for some people potentially, because throwing quite far, you've then got further to walk. Do you think that could tire you out for later competition? Is that a problem that might have to be considered?
I think that's definitely something they will start reviewing. So we were quite lucky again. We had a big pool of throwers, so it was split into 6. We had one group of 6 and a second. The first group, there were 3 men over 70 metres, and the subsequent 3 were all over 65 metres. So we had the A group and the B group, which my group was 55 to about 45. So we had feedback from people who throw those distances. And to be honest, you can take as long as you want, which was what we learnt on the day. You don't have to go out straight away. As it's being measured, just take a long leisurely walk out there, a long leisurely walk back. As there's only 6 competitors anyway, you can take your time. You want rest between throws regardless, because it was moving so quick. The whole competition was done. 2 practice throws. We had 7 rounds. We normally have 6, and that was done in 40 minutes.
Okay. So it didn't take too long at all. Yeah.
If anything, we were thankful.
It's good to see that you've there's going to be the opportunities though for competition. Are there any in particular that you're hoping might still go ahead this year?
So fingers crossed. Southern Athletics put a statement out that they're planning to do the Southern Champs. They're unsure whether they can do the field events, but I'm hoping the results off the competition yesterday and the competition's going ahead today in the Midlands, they'll come to the conclusion that they are safe to proceed with these events. It's all very dependent on venues at the minute. I know England Athletics, the proposed timetable nationals is still supposed to go ahead in September, so we have got something to work towards if we've got access to a track. Although I wouldn't be disappointed if there weren't any more competitions, as I feel we should all be on a fair playing field, and that's not fair if people haven't had access to a track.
Yeah. No, yeah, that is definitely a thing, because I know lots of places haven't opened up their tracks yet, or having difficulty accessing it. I guess with the whole thing of public transport there now, some people might not want to get on, and if you can't get to a track, you can't train. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they do manage to get all our competitions going. So back to obviously you're throwing your hammer. You've moved quite far to go to uni and stuff. What's it been like being away from your parents? Because I'd imagine they were quite supportive from the start and with competitions and stuff, and then now just not necessarily always being at competitions and stuff. How have you found that?
Yes, it's been quite a difficult adjustment, definitely, but I don't feel as far away. We have things like FaceTime, and literally last week I FaceTimed them through my hammer session, and it's like they're standing there. I used to go to every single competition with my dad. He'd drive me absolutely everywhere, which helped me really progress as an athlete, and I'm so thankful for that. Without that sort of support and that team, it's really hard to progress. When they're your whole support system, whenever I'm having a bad day, I'll always go back to my dad, because I know he picks me up when I'm not feeling very well or I'm not throwing good. I miss that side of things, but
Yeah.
whenever I do go home, if it's for a week or 2 weeks, I'm still very fortunate I can train, and I've got access to a gym at home still, and it makes trips home a lot easier because I don't have to sacrifice my training.
Yeah.
It's having like your whole team working together. Obviously my coach here, Paul Heads, he works with my old coach at home, Steve Pearson. We left on really good terms, so I still go and visit him, I still go to his gym, which really helps me out when I'm stuck to train at home.
Okay. With that as well, before you were a hammer thrower, you had a couple of other sports. So could you tell us a bit about what else you did and maybe your favourite one that you used to do?
Yeah, so my sporting background's a bit of a mixed bag really. I never did conventional events. I tried dancing, I did gymnastics, I did a bit of ballet, a bit of karate. Um, then about 12, I discovered canoeing, and through that, I developed a lot of the attributes as an athlete I have now, which is my strength, my stability, my just general core strength that would be unusual in a girl my age because I was so used to canoeing. It's such a funny motion, and it just helped me to really develop as an athlete. I did that all the way up until I specialised in hammer. So I'd be from 12 and I stopped right around 15. So it was a long stint of canoeing, and I do really miss it sometimes, but I think it's time to focus on the hammer now and really commit to it, see what I can do.
Yeah. So was it just that the hammer, was it going better, or was it more of a thing that you felt you could focus more on?
It's really hard to say. So I did my first nationals in canoeing and my first English schools in the same year. So I was level at the two, you could say. Then I suffered a big loss in the canoeing. My coach at the time passed away, and that really did destroy me. I was really upset over it, and I found it really difficult to return back to canoeing as a sport. So then I threw myself wholeheartedly into athletics, and that really helped soften that blow.
Okay. Yeah, that's yeah, sorry about that.
You know,
Um
it was phenomenal, really. I mean, he was a man in his 80s. We went in a K2, so I'd be in the front, he'd be in the back, and we'd win every race.
yeah.
If I'd met him when he was 20 years younger, I think we'd still be going strong today.
No, it's good. So with obviously you then did specialise in hammer from about 15. Under you're ranked 10th of all time for under 17 hammer throwers in England. So how was that year? What was it about that year that you felt you like improved more and stuff?
That was my breakthrough year. I'd definitely say everything clicked into place, and we'd finally got a routine that suited me. So it was my last year under 17 with the three. I had nothing to lose, so I just put absolutely everything into it. We trained harder than ever. I trained morning, night, afternoon, anytime I could. I was fitting around my studies, obviously. Um, Both my PBs came at the end of the season, August. So no, it was September. Gosh. So I threw 58 meters on the Saturday, which at the time was a 3 meter PB. So then we found one last competition, the last of the year. It was on the Sunday. No pressure on me at all. So I threw 59, and it was the best day ever. Not quite 60, but at the time we were overjoyed with 59.
Yeah. Right, it's impressive as well. Because then obviously you've got, as you've gone up the age groups, you're still doing well. And what is your hope? Are you hoping to go into an athletic career, or is it just something you want to do alongside something else? What are your aims athletics wise?
So my personal aims, I would really like to go to the British Champs. I'd like to earn myself and get myself on the roster on a senior competition. So at the minute I've been successful in my junior career. I'd like to kickstart my senior career with that same success and keep it rolling through, slowly burn away at it and get up to the top.
Yeah, oh, it sounds good. I was thinking as well with your uni. You stayed in the UK. A lot of athletes, one of their big things with going to uni, they decide whether to go to the UK or America. What was it? Was there any particular reason you decided to stay, or?
Again, it's really hard to say because as everyone, I was so tempted. I had some phenomenal offers for some American universities, and I do think so many athletes are thriving out there. Why would you not go? Like, there's only good stories there. But for me personally, I'm a bit of a home bird, and Kent was far enough away to be independent, but it was close enough that I could still go and see my mum and dad. I'd struggle a lot with having to get a plane to go and see them rather than a train. So for me, definitely the right decision. And again, coaching wise, I knew in my head if I moved this way, the only person I wanted to be coached by was Paul Head, and I like made subconsciously made that decision, so I stuck with it all the way through.
Oh, yeah, that's fair enough then. That so are you happy? Do you feel that you've made your choice there and you're happy with what you did and everything? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I regrets over it, which is nice. I know I made the right choice, and I think although I've not had a PB yet, I think we're getting very close to it.
Yeah, so we'll hope to see some more from you in either later this season or next. See what happens with
Yeah,
Corona.
they're coming about. I'm definitely going to be in them.
Yeah, no, it'll be good. I can't wait. I'll get back to everything as well. So yeah, I hope to see you there.
Yeah,
Thank you
God,
for
first Women's League will be so nice. Get to see everyone again. Oh,
thank you for taking your time to talk to us today. It's been great to hear more about your experience of athletics with Blackie from Bromley.
no, thank you for letting me share my journey. It's been a pleasure to speak to you today, and thank you everyone that's joined in. I know my mum and dad are watching, so they'd kill me if I didn't shout out, hi, hi, Dad.
But yeah, so thank you. And yeah, it's been good to see you again. So
I know. I hope I get to see you in physical person soon, not just over the phone.
yeah, right. I'll see you soon then.
Oh, thank you, Holly. Thank you, Holly.
Thanks.